you have this name, I'm sorry, but it's not looking good for you. If you know anyone with these first names, then make sure you share this video with them. Trust me. According to research which has been done by scientists and surveys which have been conducted, there are certain first names which attract different things.
Is time travel possible?
Well, according to physicists, time travel is possible. Yeah, it has been proven using technology, but it will not be possible for us humans to time travel.
The chimney here that's pictured behind me is the site of one of the strangest mysteries in the true crime world. This was the location of where 18-year-old Joshua Maddox was found.
I'm back, it's your boy FITTIE, and today we're going to be taking a look at these TikTok videos. I know I've been gone for a little bit. I've been in Vegas for like the last 2 weeks. I just came back, I would say, maybe like 2 days ago. I don't know, but I've been chilling. If you guys like the chain, remember to check the link down in the description. Use FIT10 for a 10% discount. Just text the little chat box. If you just show proof that you're subscribed to Fittie, you will get 10% off and an additional 1% off for being subscribed to Healing Stoicism. So make sure you guys check that out.
Here that's pictured behind me is the site of one of the strangest mysteries in the true crime world. This was the location of where 18-year-old Joshua Maddox was found. To give a bit of backstory about what makes this so strange is that Joshua went missing and his family never understood why. But this was in 2008, and the body was not discovered until 2015. The person who owns this abandoned cabin was going to demolish it when they knocked down the chimney, and that is where they found the body. Crammed inside, upside down in fetal position, were the skeletal remains of Joshua Maddox. By the way, if you're looking for a longer episode on this, we're probably going to cover it on Creep Time that you can always go listen to using the link that's right in my bio. What was so odd about the Joshua Maddox case is that the investigators ruled that this was some kind of an accident, that he had crawled down the chimney to break into this cabin for an unknown reason. There were several things with that story that didn't add up. One is to focus back on this chimney because the chimney had a grate on top of it, which would have made it impossible for someone of Joshua's size to get inside the chimney. Even stranger than that, Joshua was found inside the chimney wearing only his t-shirt. The rest of his clothing had been removed and was at the bottom of the fireplace. Something about that story just does not add up.
Yeah, that story was kind of strange. I feel like they need to do a little bit more investigation for that one.
I don't know why, but I've always been extremely uneasy at having this signal, we all know what this signal is, on your everyday objects. I've seen them on shower curtains, on carpets, on cups, on purses, t-shirts. I've even seen people with like tattoos on them. Whether there's a planchette involved or not, Ouija boards of any kind and on any surface are a bridgeway or a portal in between this life and the afterlife. Just being in the possession of one is already an invitation of having something around you that you may not necessarily want. Now, can you imagine carrying them on you on your everyday objects? Even if the intent is not there, it is still there because you're essentially still carrying this thing around. And walking around with this thing at all times, or even in your home, is essentially a beacon letting all of these negative, really malicious things know that they can come to you in the event that they want to communicate.
Who would get a Ouija board tatted on their chest? If you know anyone with a Ouija board tatted on their chest, nah, you need to flame them. You need to tell them, like, get out of here. Like, what are you doing?
This whole alien UFO thing is getting really, really weird. Check out this latest sighting.
Bitch, what? Hey, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Ever since it was confirmed that aliens are real, we're getting more and more creepy sightings. A lot of people think that this is part of Project Bluebeam. Basically, that the government is going to use AI and holographics to stage a fake alien invasion, even cause destruction. And in the end, the government will swoop in and save us all and is hoping that everyone will unite and be like, yes, we love the government. That's basically what Project Bluebeam is, and it's terrifying. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
I'm not gonna lie, on first look, I was like, yo, is that the Avatar? Like the last Airbender when he got trapped in the iceberg, you know? I was like, yo, that looked like the Avatar. That'd be funny though.
You may need a nightlight after watching this.
Airport security guard Francisco Hernandez was finishing up his shift one evening at a Mexico City airport when he heard strange noises coming from inside a plane that was supposed to be completely empty. Per his work protocol and airline regulations, he had to investigate the aircraft, and what he found inside sent him running for his life. Take a look.
Verga.
please. No mames.
An ominous, shadowy figure is seen peering around the corner at Francisco repeatedly, and when he finally sees it, he flees the plane in terror. Even more chilling, this was an area Francisco had just searched, but was completely empty. Who or what is it?
The goosebumps that video gives me. What are your thoughts?
I'm not gonna lie, Francisco did the right thing. He checked it before, there was no one there, and then it just kept playing the shadow figure just kept playing these games. Yeah, I would have left too. I'd have been like, nah, I'm not doing all that.
Okay, this is a very unsettling video. A lot of people are concerned about this woman, thinking that she's like a cyborg or like an alien or a reptilian. Check it out.
So I wanted to introduce into the record page 55 from the committee's interview. First, I wanted to introduce into the record page 55 from the committee's interview with FBI employee.
How does this woman know what she's gonna say word for word for word? Some fishy is going on and I don't like it. I'm gonna cover this case and more on my YouTube channel, so link in bio, subscribe.
This is why you should never record yourself sleeping. Back in 2015, this man Nigel became a single father, taking care of his baby all on his own. Now, for the first few months there was no problems, but then Nigel started finding it extremely hard to sleep, and not because of the baby. He started waking up randomly every single night at 3 in the morning, for no reason at all. Shortly after waking up every night, the baby would then start crying and he would have to go and check on it. Now this continued for an entire month. Now Nigel realised he needed to do something about this and find out what was going on, so he headed out to the shops one day. He decided he was going to buy a camera, which he then returned home and fitted in his bedroom, pointing towards the bed. It came to bedtime, he hit record on the camera and headed to sleep. Again, he woke up randomly at 3 AM. This time, the baby didn't cry, so he headed straight back to sleep, knowing that the camera was set up and would capture whatever was going on. The morning came and he went to check the camera footage. That's when he noticed a large shadowy figure standing in his corridor, right by his door. The figure just stood there for minutes, not moving a muscle. He then decided to check the baby monitor, which he wishes he never did. At 3 AM, he saw a figure standing over his child's bed. The figure was just standing there, staring over the cot and peering inside. He then realised the figure looked familiar, almost like his wife, who he had murdered 2 months earlier.
If he truly did hurt his wife, I really hope that was her just coming back to haunt him, because like, why are you doing that, man? The mother of your kids, come on.
This college dorm room is so haunted they had to permanently close it to students. This is Ohio University's room 428.
The only known case where an American university sealed a dorm is room 428 in Wilson Hall at Ohio University. Students aren't allowed to so much as step foot inside that room.
And for good reason. You gotta hear this.
428 is permanently closed due to the numerous reports of hauntings and dangerous paranormal activity in the room. It all started in the 1970s when a male student passed away in room 428 under mysterious circumstances.
Meaning, no one could agree on what happened to this young man. And after that, things started getting really weird.
Years later, a female student moved in and used the room's energy to practice rituals. Not long after moving in, she passed away mysteriously as well.
And once again, no one could really agree on a reason why.
And ever since the two, anyone who moved into the dorm reported terrifying occurrences at all hours of the day and night. Objects would fly across the room on their own accord. Students would hear disembodied voices, whispering, and even shouting, even though there was no one there. And even stranger, haunting faces kept appearing in the wood grain of the room's door. This happened over and over. The school even replaced the door many times, but the faces would always reappear.
Eventually, it got to be too much. They were getting complaints and calls about this room all the time.
And the university decided to seal the door shut forever. And this is the only known case where a dorm room has been sealed off in the United States. Mediums have found that this building is located at the center of 5 ancient cemeteries. And room 428 is some kind of a portal.
This really reminds me of Dudleytown. Just one horrible event after another, and eventually they have to close it. What are your thoughts on room 428?
These are pictures that get worse the longer you look at them, part 2. Up first is this picture, and at first glance, it just looks like 3 friends at a wedding. But if you look closer, you will see something extremely disturbing. Look between the guy's legs in the middle and you will see a disturbing ghostly little girl. This is super creepy, and imagine you see this after taking this photo. Next up is just a normal picture of a living room, right? That is until you look in the bottom left and you see a very disturbing face. The person who took this photo said nothing was there when they took it, and it only showed up after the photo was taken. What in the world is that thing? Next up is a picture of a truck that is completely packed to the brim. But if you look throughout the items, you will see something very weird. In the back of the truck, you can see the head of a little boy peeking out. Which raises the question, is this kid kidnapped? Next, take a look at this picture of this girl on her bed. Nothing out of the ordinary, right? But if you look to the right of her mattress, you can see the face of a guy looking out. I would immediately move out of my house if I took this photo. Finally is this picture. And promise me, the longer you look at this, the more disturbing it will get. So do me a favor right now and pause the video and let me know what you see in this photo. Because trust me, there's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, that last one I saw at least like 5 things. I'm like, what? I hope that girl that was on that bed checked under that bed after that picture was taken. I'd be like, yo, why is her face just right there? That's so strange.
Is time travel possible?
Well, according to physicists, time travel is possible. Yeah, it has been proven using technology, but it will not be possible for us humans to time travel because we will turn into mist with that flying and that speed to time travel. We need to travel faster than the speed of light, which I think our bodies cannot handle. But theoretically speaking, yes, it is possible.
What is your biggest fear in your life, and why is your biggest fear?
That's funny because I think about that a lot. I'm like, yo, it's crazy how time travel is possible going towards the future. Like, we have a higher chance of time traveling towards the future than going back to the past. So that means everything that already happened, we can't change. But everything that's to come, we can kind of see what might happen, I guess.
Already know this video is going to show up at night for you. I don't care. You tell that there is something deeply wrong with this photo. It's discovered in a hidden lockbox after her grandfather had passed, and the woman who found it, Michaela Jerome, she thought the same thing that you did. There's something that's kind of off about this picture. Very quickly, if you're not already, make sure to go check out my podcast, The Scariest One You Know, Creep Time the Podcast. Can use the link in my bio. We're on Spotify and Apple. Well, the photo, she was almost sure, clearly showed the staircase of her family home, but she couldn't be sure about what this was in the center until she enhanced the photo. A hauntingly clear image of what appears to be a woman clawing her way up those stairs. She eventually turned in this photo for analysis with the police, and it took them 4 months, but they determined that this was more than likely a scenario of captivity. If her grandfather did take this picture, he had this woman in his possession. Still, nobody would even know who she was.
I feel like it's always the pictures or the videos of just like the girl from The Ring just crawling up the stairs. Like, why? Why is she just suddenly attacking everyone's basement, going up and down their stairs? Like, it's a little bit strange.
If you have this name, I'm sorry, but it's not looking good for you. Do you know anyone with these first names, then make sure you share this video with them. Trust me. According to research which has been done by scientists and surveys which have been conducted, there are certain first names which attract different things. First name on this list being one which attracts the most paranormal activity. Now, knowing the names on these lists means you can be a bit more careful when you first meet someone. This is a girl's name and it's the name Emily. According to studies, this is a name which has the most recorded possessions, along with the positives of most likely being telepathic. If you think about it, there are so many films which involve the name Emily about paranormal activities or exorcism. Next up, and I really hope you don't know anyone with this name. This name is the most linked name to serial killers in the US and across Europe. This name is Harold. Finally, the complete opposite of the last one, in studies that have been done in the last 10 years, the most commonly appearing name of person to go missing or disappear is the name Jeremy.
Hey man, if you have any of those names, let me know down in the comments. Like, what? Emily? Yo, if your name is Emily, that means you have a high chance of getting possessed. That's crazy.
This home went from haunted to straight up demonic. It's believed to be the site of more than 17 portals to the other side. 17 doorways for the dead to enter our world. This is the infamously haunted and terrifying Bel Air House in Ohio. The Bel Air House has been the site of a mine explosion and unexplained deaths. One man who lived in the home decades ago went insane, claiming that the spirits inside the home were trying to kill him. He was later committed to an asylum, but continued to talk about the dark entities inside the Bel Air House for the rest of his days. Over the years, the house has seen a quick turnover of owners and renters. It seems no one can last inside for more than a couple months. The current owner of the Bel Air home got so desperate to get rid of it, she offered to sell it to the town for a mere $1. But the offer was rejected. The place is haunted, and everyone knows it. It's earned the reputation of being a hotbed of paranormal activity. Are you ready? Because the tales of the haunted Bel Air house are not for the faint of heart. It's about to get spooky. I'm Avery Ross, and this is Avery After Dark.
I'm gonna give you 3 seconds to try to guess what's happening in this video.
That was Albert saying hello.
It's gonna sound crazy, but people are saying that this light flickering is a desperate plea from a ghost. Let me explain. So this is the Halcyon House, and it's one of the most haunted houses in Washington, D.C. I talk about it in this week's episode, but this house used to be owned 120 years ago by a man named Albert. Albert went mad in the house and got into some really dark stuff. He thought if he ever stopped working on the house, he would die, so he hired a man to just continuously be working on the house. And he built whatever he could. He doubled the size of the house. He built stairways that went nowhere. There was even a door on the top floor that just opened out into the air. Albert was this huge collector, so he would buy Greek statues and mummies and just live in the house amongst his collection. Eventually, Albert does die, and when he does, he has some really strange final requests. He wants to be buried on the property, he wants a wooden stake driven through his heart, and he wants a promise that electricity will never be installed. But none of his requests were ever fulfilled, and now people say that this light flickers because it's Albert trying to turn off the electricity. Check out this week's episode for more spooky stories.
Damn, Albert's been at that for years. Wow. At some point, you gotta be like, as a ghost, when you're just gonna rest in peace, when you're just gonna chill and not try to do too much. Hopefully Albert can finally chill, because it's been years.
Hear a creepy unexplained story? My mom's first husband was a Navy pilot during the first Gulf War. Soon after he deployed, my mom didn't hear from him much, which was not unusual. 10 days after he left, she suddenly woke up in the middle of the night, looked in the corner of the room, and saw him standing there. He did not look like he was an apparition. He looked like a solid human being just standing there. Everything about him was exactly the same, except for the fact that his head was shaven. He only said one word, goodbye, and then disappeared. The whole experience startled her so much that she could not sleep for the rest of the night. The next morning, she woke up to a knock on her door, where she was then informed that her husband had passed away due to a massive heart attack. She pretty much assumed that her seeing him the night before was just a hallucination due to the fact that she missed her husband. Immediately, her mom and mother-in-law flew out to plan for the funeral and await for the body to be received. She stayed strong until the viewing of the body. When she saw her husband's lifeless body, he was bald. It was then explained to her by his NFO that the reason he had a bald head was due to a lost bet. There was absolutely no way that she could have had any prior knowledge to this.
So, was he bald before or after the death? That's weird.
If you don't want to have nightmares tonight, keep scrolling, because this is Earth's Scariest Places, part 66. This beautiful building is the Al Qasimi Palace, located in the United Arab Emirates. It is one of the most mystifying and haunted places in the country. Let's dive in. This beautiful palace was originally built in 1980 by the Al Qasimi family, which was the ruling family at the time. Its original purpose was to be a place of luxury. The family originally wanted to use it as a place to host extravagant parties and fundraisers and to host rich, wealthy guests. And if you look at the original interior, that fits the mold. But in the next few years, things started to go wrong. The family started noticing paranormal activity in the house. It was small things at first, like lights being flicked on and off and footsteps in the hallways, but eventually the residents started getting hurt and furniture started getting thrown around the room. At this point, the residents of the palace completely abandoned it. It stays the exact same way it was in the 1980s today. And today, it's a tourist attraction that you can go see for yourself. Visitors have reported some of these same paranormal activity that was reported back in the 80s, as well as apparitions and handprints and faces imprinted in the windows.
This is a true horrifying story, part 77. This story was submitted by a captain that works for Fly Dubai. Fly Dubai is not as fancy as Emirates Airlines, but it does take you to cities that Emirates Airlines does not. This happened in the year 2021. The captain had a layover flight from Dubai to Napoli, Italy. The airline company assigned an old hotel for the crew to stay in. After the flight arrived to Napoli, the captain walked inside the hotel. he noticed that the hotel was very, very old. It smelled very old. The corridors were tight, the ceilings were very low, and the wooden floors were squeaky. He goes inside his room for the first time, and he notices an antique painting of 4 women dressed in white. And there was another door that was locked that connects him to the room right next to his. He saw that the time was already too late and he was tired, so he decided to just fall asleep. But as he was falling asleep, the connecting room door starts to knock in a very creepy pattern. Minute by minute, these knocks get stronger and louder. He had enough. He calls the reception and complains about the guests that are staying in that room. But they inform him that it's impossible. Sir, you're the only guest that is staying on that floor specifically tonight. He is now concerned. He feels very cold because he knew exactly what this thing was. He manages to ignore the noise and he goes to sleep. But when he wakes up the next morning, he was astonished, but also very scared, because he looked at the painting and it only had 2 women in it that are dressed in white. He swore that he saw 4 women in the painting the previous night. He gets dressed and he goes downstairs to have breakfast with his colleagues, and he couldn't wait to tell them the creepy story of his whole night. He later finds out that every single crew member from his flight said the same thing. All of them have experienced paranormal activity in this hotel. None of the crew members felt safe to go back upstairs to their rooms, but he had to go. He went upstairs to write an official email complaint to the airline company. As he was going through his bag, knock, knock, knock. He turns his head towards the knocking noise. It came from behind the painting. He gasped and he couldn't breathe because he only saw 1 woman dressed in white.
Yo, I'd be freaked out. I would leave immediately. Oh my gosh. It's why nowadays, man, it's always good to go with a group of people, you know? It's never wrong just going with a group of people. When you go by yourself, anything crazy stuff happens, you're like, God damn, I'm stuck.
What happens right after you die?
Well, as you die, you see the angel of death approaching you, of course. And after you die, you will be temporarily conscious of your surroundings. Theoretically, I'm not sure of this, but this is what I have heard from people. But what I am sure of is in Islam, when they are washing your body before they bury you, you will hear the footsteps of the people that bury you. And after burial, you will hear them walking away. And after that, also confirmed, there you will be approached by 2 angels that are the most scariest beings you will ever see in your life. They are called Munkar wa Nakir, and you will be tested. They will ask you 3 questions. If you fail, you burn. If you pass, you go to Jannah.
I feel like a lot of angels are just looking scary. Like, there's the angels that we think look normal, then there's the angels that are actually absolutely scary. And apparently the actually scary ones are actual angels. The second I pick up that camera and I see that I'm out of that crib, bro. I'm selling the house. I'm never going back ever again. That was absolutely insane. Like, why? Like, who's just opening my window like that? Threw the latch off and just open. No, dude. It's gotta be something crazy.
Mysterious shapeshifters caught changing on camera.
I do not think Queen Elizabeth is a shapeshifter. R.I.P. the Queen. I forgot that she died, like, I think at 99 years old. It's a long time to live, dude. but I don't think she's a shapeshifter. I think that was just a glitch. Either that's a glitch on the camera or something health related. That's what I think. Do you guys think the queen is a shapeshifter? Put your thoughts down in the comments. But all right, thank you guys for watching. I know I haven't posted in 2 weeks, so this is my first video in like 2 weeks. Hopefully gets pushed to a lot of people. If you guys like this video, please like the video. Let's try to get to 500 likes this video. Love you all. Hopefully I could get some clips out when I was in Vegas. I've been just delaying on everything. Too much is just going on right now. So thank you guys for watching. Remember to check the chains out. Check out Healing Stoicism if you want a 1% discount on top of the 10% discount for Fit 10. You will not regret following them. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch y'all in the next one.